You think you're ready for a collapse? You've got your bug-out bag, your canned food, and a wallet full of cash that'll be worthless paper in a week? Let me be blunt, you're focused on the wrong things. The real currency when society breaks down isn't gold, guns, or Bitcoin, it's solving problems. It's the small overlooked items that become priceless when the systems we depend on fail. When the grid goes dark and the store shelves are bare, nobody will care about your investment portfolio. They'll care about function. They'll care about what keeps them safe, warm, and healthy for one more day. History proves this. People have traded family heirlooms for a roll of toilet paper and a month's food rations for a single bike lighter. Forget what the mainstream preppers tell you. The real value lies in the things everyone else ignores. Today, I'm cutting through the noise. I'm giving you the 11 products you can get for cheap right now that will be worth more than their weight in gold when the lights go out for good. These aren't the obvious items. These are the game changers. Point 1: pocket-sized fire on demand. Let's cut the crap. Fire is life. It's the one element that separates us from being just another cold, desperate animal in the dark. But forget your fancy ferro rods, your magnesium starters, and your primitive bow drills. Those are hobbies, not survival tools. When your hands are numb, it's pissing rain, and you haven't eaten in 2 days, you don't have the time or the energy for a science project. You need fire, and you need it now. That's where the humble disposable plastic lighter comes in. This isn't just a tool, it's a lifeline compressed into a pocket-sized miracle. Think about it from a purely practical standpoint. What other fire-starting method offers thousands of reliable, instant ignitions in a self-contained, waterproof unit? Matches are a little humidity and they're worthless pulp. Even so-called storm-proof matches are finite and bulky. Fire pistons and ferro rods require skill, practice, and most importantly, perfectly dry, prepared tinder, a luxury you won't have when everything is damp and you're fighting off hypothermia. A cheap bike lighter, on the other hand, asks for nothing. It just works. I've found lighters buried in mud, let them dry out for an hour and they sparked right up. They are the epitome of function over form, and in a collapse, function is the only thing that matters. Now let's talk economic. When the supply chain is a distant memory, what makes something valuable? Utility, scarcity, and demand. Lighters hit the jackpot on all three. The utility is obvious. Boiling water to make it safe, cooking food, providing warmth, cauterizing a wound, or signaling for help. The demand will be universal. Everyone, from the clueless suburbanite to the seasoned woodsman, will want one, but the scarcity is what will make them priceless. Millions are produced daily, but once the factories shut down and the trucks stop running, the existing supply is all there is. Every flick of a lighter will be one less in the world. They will become a currency more stable and sought after than any precious metal. During the siege of Sarajevo, people weren't trading gold for bread, they were trading what little they had for a working lighter. That's not a hypothetical, it's a historical fact. A lighter is the power to make water safe, a meal edible, and the night bearable. How much is that worth? Everything. Point 2. The art of holding it all together. You're going to fall apart. Not just mentally, but physically. I'm talking about your gear. That expensive tactical backpack, your sturdy work boots, your last good pair of pants, they are all on a countdown to total failure. We live in a disposable world, where we replace, not repair. But when there are no replacements, every rip, tear, and split seam is a step closer to disaster. A torn backpack strap could mean abandoning essential supplies. A hole in your boot in winter could lead to frostbite and amputation. This is where a laughably simple and ancient technology becomes one of the most valuable assets you can possess. A basic sewing kit. Forget duct tape. Duct tape is a temporary, amateur fix for a world that's permanently broken. It's bulky, heavy, and fails under stress and in wet conditions. A proper repair with a needle and heavy-duty thread, however, is permanent. It restores the item to full functionality. Think about the sheer power packed into a small tin of needles and a few spools of thread. It weighs almost nothing, takes up no space, and never expires. With it, you can repair your shelter, your clothing, your bags, and your footwear. You can patch a tent, re-stitch a boot sole, or reinforce the stress points on a pack that's carrying more weight than it was designed for. You are literally holding your world together one stitch at a time. But the value goes far beyond simple repairs. In a world without doctors or hospitals, basic medical care will fall on you. A sterilized needle and thread can be used for wound closure. This isn't about playing surgeon. It's about having a last resort option to close a deep gash that would otherwise become infected and kill you. For centuries, this was standard field medicine for soldiers and pioneers. The ability to properly stitch a wound is a skill that will be worth more than any amount of painkillers or antibiotics you've hoarded, because it prevents the infection from taking hold in the first place. A small, unassuming sewing kit isn't just about mending fabric. It's about mending gear, mending shelter, and when it comes down to it, mending people. It is the ultimate tool of longevity, ensuring that both you and your equipment can endure the long haul. Point 3. The unbreakable bind. Forget your fancy knots and your yards of paracord. When things go sideways, you won't have the time, the fine motor skills, or the light to be playing sailor. You need to secure, repair, or restrain something right now, under duress, with hands that are either freezing, shaking, or covered in mud. This is where the simple, industrial-grade zip tie becomes the most brutally effective tool in your arsenal. It's not about elegance, it's about raw, uncompromising function. Speed, strength, and simplicity are the holy trinity of survival, and the zip tie delivers all three in a way no rope ever could. A high-quality, UV-resistant zip tie is a permanent solution in a world of temporary fixes. Let's break down the sheer physics of it. A standard 11-inch heavy-duty zip tie has a tensile strength of around 75 pounds. That's a bond that won't stretch, slip, or loosen over time. Think about the applications. You can lash together a splint for a broken limb with a speed and security that bandages can't match. You can create an improvised lock on a door that will resist a surprising amount of force. You can repair a broken pack frame, fix a fence, or attach gear to the outside of your vehicle with a certainty that knots can't provide. When you're exhausted and it's dark, fumbling with a rope is a liability. Zipping something into place takes 2 seconds and zero thought. It's a one-way ticket to a secure connection, and you can do it one-handed if you have to. The real game changer, however, is in construction and security. In a collapse, you'll be building, reinforcing, and fortifying. Zip ties are the ultimate post-apocalyptic fasteners. Need to attach wire mesh over a window? Zip ties. Need to lash branches together for a makeshift shelter frame? Zip ties. Need to organize and secure critical cables, tools, or supplies so they don't become a chaotic mess? Zip ties. They are impervious to moisture, rot, and most chemicals. Unlike rope, they don't absorb water and freeze. Unlike duct tape, their adhesive doesn't fail in extreme temperatures. They are the universal connector for a broken world. People will hoard them for their unmatched utility in repairs, fortifications, and even as restraints. A bundle of 100 heavy-duty zip ties is a construction kit in a bag, and their value will skyrocket when hardware stores are nothing but looted shells. Point 4. The alchemist's foil. Let's talk about one of the most common disposable items in your kitchen. Aluminum foil. You see it as something to wrap leftovers in. I see it as a force multiplier for survival that borders on alchemy. In a world stripped of its complex technology, this paper-thin sheet of metal becomes a multi-tool with applications that are only limited by your ingenuity. Its power lies in its ability to manipulate the fundamental forces of heat, light, and electricity, all while providing an absolute barrier against the elements. When you have no power, mastering these forces is the difference between thriving and dying. First, and most critically, foil is a master of thermodynamics. Foil will be one of the most precious and finite resources you have. Every bit of heat you generate must be used with maximum efficiency. By creating a reflective barrier behind a candle, a small fire, or even a person, aluminum foil directs radiant heat exactly where you need it, effectively doubling your heat output from the same amount of fuel. You can line a cardboard box with it to create a solar oven capable of cooking food and boiling water using nothing but the sun. Placed under your sleeping bag, it reflects your own body heat back at you, a trick that can prevent hypothermia on a cold night. It's not just a convenience, it's an efficiency engine for your most vital resource: warmth. Beyond heat, foil is an impenetrable shield. It is 100% waterproof, airtight, and lightproof. This makes it the ultimate preservation tool. You can wrap fire-starting materials, ammunition, medical supplies, or seeds in foil to protect them from the degrading effects of moisture. It creates a Faraday cage, offering some protection to small electronics from an EMP. In a world without Ziploc bags or Tupperware, it will be essential for protecting food from pests and spoilage. but its utility as a barrier is matched by its power as a signal. A small crumpled piece of foil can be seen for miles when the sun hits it, making it a signaling mirror that requires no special skill to use. It can be used to create fishing lures, to mark trails, or even as an improvised antenna to boost radio reception. A single roll of heavy-duty foil offers hundreds of square feet of this miracle material. It's a solar cooker, a signaling device, a waterproof container, a thermal reflector, and a fire protector, all rolled into one. It's the definition of an overlooked asset. Point 5. The universal disinfectant. When the system collapses, the biggest killer won't be a bullet. It will be a microscopic organism. A simple scratch from a thorn, a cut from a rusty can, or a puncture wound will become a potential death sentence. Without access to doctors, clinics, and antibiotics, infection will run rampant. This is where one of the cheapest and most underestimated items in the pharmacy becomes more valuable than morphine. Hydrogen peroxide. It is your first, last, and best line of defense against the invisible enemies that will thrive in a world without sanitation. Let's be blunt. Hydrogen peroxide is a chemical weapon against pathogens. Its oxidizing action physically destroys bacteria, viruses, and fungal spores on contact. When you pour 3% hydrogen peroxide on a wound, that fizzing isn't just for show. It's the visible evidence of cell walls being torn apart. It debrides the wound, lifting dirt and dead tissue to the surface, while simultaneously annihilating the microbes that would lead to sepsis and a slow, agonizing death. While you should absolutely have things like antibiotic ointments, peroxide is the initial deep clean. It's the pre-surgical scrub for a world with no surgeons. Keeping a wound clean is no longer basic first aid. It becomes the most critical medical procedure you can perform, but its power extends far beyond wound care. In a pinch, hydrogen peroxide can be used to disinfect water. It's not a perfect method, but adding a small amount to questionable water and allowing it to sit will kill a broad spectrum of pathogens, potentially saving you from diseases like cholera or dysentery. When your primary filters fail or your purification tablets run out, it can be used to sterilize your medical instruments, your food preparation surfaces, and your hands. A diluted solution can be used as an antiseptic mouthwash to combat dental infections, which can be excruciating and deadly in a grid-down world. The fact that it decomposes into simple water and oxygen means it leaves no toxic residue, making it incredibly safe for a multitude of uses where other chemical cleaners would be hazardous. Unopened, brown bottles stored in a cool, dark place will remain potent for years. When a bottle of this stuff can mean the difference between a minor cut and a fatal infection, it will be traded for food, fuel, and anything else of value. It's not just a first aid supply, it's life in a bottle. Point 6. The unseen enemy of mechanics. Let's get one thing straight. In a collapse, the world won't be stopped by some dramatic event. It will grind to a halt because of friction. Every single tool you rely on, from your firearm to your hand-crank generator, is a machine with moving parts. And every machine without lubrication is just a countdown timer to failure. When your folding knife seizes up from rust, your rifle's action gets gritty and fails to cycle, or the bearings on your water pump grind themselves into dust, you'll understand. Maintenance isn't a chore anymore, it's the only thing standing between function and failure. This is where a ridiculously overlooked item becomes a cornerstone of longevity. Precision machine oil, specifically the kind meant for sewing machines. Forget WD-40, that's a water displacer and solvent, not a true lubricant. Forget heavy grease, it attracts dirt and gums up in the cold. Sewing machine oil is different. It's a highly refined, lightweight mineral oil designed for high-speed, tight-tolerance mechanisms. It doesn't get sticky, it doesn't degrade, and it penetrates deep into moving parts, creating a durable, low-friction barrier against wear and corrosion. Think about it. A single drop can silence a squeaking hinge, but it can also keep the delicate trigger group of a firearm functioning flawlessly in dusty or wet conditions. It can keep your fishing reel casting smoothly, ensure your hand drill works without binding, and protect the blades of your knives and axes from the cancer of rust. It is the universal antidote to mechanical decay. The real value here is preventative. We live in a world where we run things until they break and then replace them. That option is gone. In a post-collapse environment, you are the mechanic for everything you own. Every piece of equipment that fails is a permanent loss of capability. That 1 ounce bottle of oil is not just oil, it's hundreds of hours of extended life for your most critical gear. It's the difference between a firearm that works and a club. It's the difference between a hand crank radio that functions and a box of silent plastic. In a bartering scenario, anyone with a mechanical mind, anyone who owns a gun, a generator, or even a bicycle will instantly grasp the immense value of a small bottle of pure, clean lubricant. It's the lifeblood of every machine, and when the world stops making it, a single ounce will be a treasure. Point 7. The master of micro solutions. You're focused on the big problems: food, water, shelter, but you'll be defeated by 1,000 tiny ones. A broken zipper on your jacket in a blizzard. A lost button on your pants when you need to be mobile. A deep splinter that's starting to get infected. These aren't inconveniences, they are critical failure points. And the solution isn't some high-tech gadget. It's one of the simplest, most reliable pieces of technology ever invented. The common safety pin. To see it as just a fastener is to completely miss its genius. It's a multi-tool, a medical device, and a repair kit, all in one deceptively simple package. Let's talk about its construction. A safety pin is made from spring steel, bent into a form that both fastens and protects. This isn't just flimsy wire, it's strong, resilient, and designed to hold under tension. This makes it the ultimate field expedient repair tool. When the zipper on your tent or sleeping bag fails, a potentially fatal flaw in bad weather, a series of safety pins can create a secure closure that will hold against wind and strain. They can replace broken buckles on a backpack, reattach a sling to a rifle, or serve as an emergency replacement for a lost screw in a pair of eyeglasses. Unlike thread, they require no skill to use and can be applied and removed in seconds, making them perfect for on-the-fly adjustments and repairs. The applications go far beyond fabric. A safety pin can be sterilized in a flame and used as a surgical probe to remove splinters, thorns, or shards of glass, preventing an infection before it starts. It can be used to puncture a blister to relieve pressure or secure a sling for an injured arm. Straightened out, it becomes a durable pin for resetting electronics or cleaning tight spaces. Bent into a hook, it's a fishing lure. Used in a series, they can become the trigger mechanism for a snare trap. Their value is in their infinite adaptability. A small assortment of different sizes, from the tiny ones used in sewing to the large, blanket-sized pins, gives you a tiered response system for problems big and small. They are weightless, they take up no space, and they never expire. When you can no longer buy replacements for anything, the ability to improvise a fix for almost any small mechanical problem makes a handful of safety pins one of the most powerful resources you can carry. Point 8. The barrier against breakdown. In a long-term survival scenario, you will be exposed to the elements in a way you can't possibly imagine. Sun, wind, and cold will become relentless adversaries, and they will attack your body's weakest points. One of the first things to fail will be your lips. This isn't a matter of comfort. It's a critical medical issue. Severely chapped, cracked, and bleeding lips are not just painful. They are an open gateway for infection directly into your bloodstream. Eating becomes agony, drinking is a challenge, and your morale plummets. This is why a simple tube of lip balm or chapstick transcends being a cosmetic item and becomes an essential piece of medical equipment. Its primary function is creating a barrier. The waxy, petroleum-based formula locks in moisture and protects the delicate skin of your lips from the drying effects of wind and the burning rays of the sun. This preventative action is its most important job. Preventing the damage in the first place is infinitely better than trying to treat bleeding cracks in an unsanitary environment. But the utility of that waxy, waterproof stick goes far beyond your mouth. It's a concentrated, stable fuel source. Scrape some onto a cotton ball or a piece of cloth, and you have a fire starter that will burn for several minutes, hot and steady, giving you a massive advantage when trying to ignite damp tinder. The applications don't stop there. You can use it to lubricate a sticky zipper on a jacket or tent. You can rub it on the threads of a bottle cap to ensure a waterproof seal. You can coat a small knife or tool with it to prevent rust from forming. If you feel a hot spot forming on your foot from your boots, applying a thick layer of lip balm can reduce the friction and prevent a debilitating blister from ever forming. In a world where walking is your primary mode of transport, foot care is paramount. A single blister can render you immobile, and in a true last-ditch scenario, it's an emergency source of calories. It won't taste good, but the fats and waxes are energy. In a bartering economy, the immediate tangible relief a tube of lip balm provides will make it a highly sought-after luxury. It's a fire starter, a rust inhibitor, a blister preventative, and a medical necessity, all in one tiny pocket-sized tube. Point 9. The unbreakable thread. Let's be clear, your survival will depend on your ability to bind things together. Whether it's repairing gear, setting a trap, or closing a wound, cordage is king. But paracord is bulky, and regular thread is pathetically weak. You need something with microscopic thickness and absurd strength. That item is already in your bathroom cabinet. Dental floss. To dismiss this as just a tool for oral hygiene is a catastrophic failure of imagination. This isn't just string, it's a high-performance microcordage designed to withstand incredible tension and resist rot in one of the harshest environments imaginable, the human mouth. That makes it uniquely suited for a world where everything is falling apart. Consider the material science. Most modern dental floss, especially the woven or taped variety, is made from materials like nylon or Teflon, boasting a tensile strength that is wildly disproportionate to its size. A single strand can often handle over 10 pounds of force. This isn't just thread, it's a garrote wire for squirrels. You can use it as an incredibly effective snare line for small game, one that's nearly invisible and won't rot or weaken in the rain. It makes for a perfect fishing line when paired with an improvised hook. You can use it to stitch up a torn backpack or even heavy canvas, a task that would shred normal sewing thread. Its waxy coating not only adds strength but makes it waterproof and easy to work with, preventing knots from binding up. The medical applications alone make it worth its weight in gold. In a world without sterile sutures, dental floss becomes your go-to for field stitching. It's sterile in its packaging and designed to be non-reactive with human tissue. Field medics have used it for decades when proper supplies run out because it's strong enough to hold tissue together under stress. Beyond that, its strength and thinness make it an ideal tripwire for a perimeter alarm system. It's perfect for creating lashing to build tools or secure items where precision is key. A small 100-yard dispenser of dental floss provides you with 300 feet of high-strength, waterproof, rot-proof cordage that weighs virtually nothing and fits in your pocket. It is the ultimate expression of strength-to-weight ratio, and its versatility in hunting, gear repair, and medicine makes it an indispensable asset. Point 10. The aseptic acid. When society breaks down, the things that will kill you are silent and invisible. It won't be the roaming gangs, it will be the bacteria on your hands, the mold on your food, and the pathogens in your water. Sanitation becomes a matter of life and death, and your supply of Clorox wipes will run out fast. This is where a simple, ancient, and endlessly shelf-stable liquid becomes your most powerful weapon against contamination. Distilled white vinegar. Forget seeing it as a salad dressing ingredient. You need to see it for what it is. A broad-spectrum disinfectant and preservation agent that will be indispensable when the world gets filthy. Vinegar's power lies in its acetic acid content, which creates an environment where most bacteria, molds, and many viruses simply cannot survive. Mixed with water, it becomes a non-toxic cleaning solution for every surface in your living space, from food prep areas to makeshift latrines. In an environment without functioning sanitation systems, diseases like cholera and dysentery spread like wildfire. A wipe down with a vinegar solution can be the difference between health and a fatal stomach illness. This isn't a new concept. Hospitals used vinegar for sterilization and wound cleaning before modern chemical disinfectants were invented. It can be used to treat fungal infections like athlete's foot, soothe insect bites, and when diluted, can help clean wounds when you've run out of hydrogen peroxide. Beyond its role as a disinfectant, vinegar is one of the most effective food preservation methods ever devised. Pickling allows you to take fresh vegetables that would otherwise rot in days and preserve them for months or even years with no refrigeration. This allows you to capitalize on a harvest or a lucky find, extending your food supply through lean time. This was a standard survival technique for our ancestors and will become critical again. The sheer versatility is staggering. It can be used to remove rust from tools, act as a natural pest deterrent, and even clean and deodorize clothing. A gallon of vinegar is cheap and takes up space, but its role in preventing disease and preserving food makes it one of the highest value preps you can have. When others are dying from simple infections and food poisoning, you'll be safe because you understood the power of aseptic acid. Point 11. The universal powder. If you were forced to choose only one item to stockpile, one single product to solve the widest range of life-threatening problems, this is it. It's not a weapon, a tool, or a food source. It's a simple, white, crystalline powder, sodium bicarbonate, or baking soda. To think of it as just a leavening agent for baking is to completely misunderstand its profound utility. In a collapse, baking soda transforms into a one-stop solution for hygiene, medicine, sanitation, and safety. Its value comes from its unique chemical properties that allow it to clean, neutralize, deodorize, and heal in a way no other single substance can. First, let's talk about hygiene, the foundation of health. When dental care is non-existent, a small cavity can abscess and lead to fatal sepsis. Baking soda is the ultimate post-collapse toothpaste. Its gentle abrasive quality cleans teeth, while its alkaline nature neutralizes the decay-causing acids produced by bacteria. It's also a powerful natural deodorant. In a world without showers, applying baking soda to your armpits and feet will neutralize odor-causing bacteria, a critical factor for morale and group cohesion when living in close quarters. This isn't about smelling nice, it's about preventing the skin infections that thrive in filth. Medically, its value is immense. A paste of baking soda and water provides immediate relief from insect bites, stings, and poison ivy by neutralizing the toxins. It can soothe sunburn and other minor burns. Taken internally, a small amount mixed in water is one of the most effective antacids in existence, treating the severe heartburn and indigestion that will be common with a poor diet. But its most critical and overlooked use is as a neutralizing agent. Baking soda can neutralize both acids and bases, making it your first line of defense against chemical burns from scavenged batteries or industrial cleaners. It's also a masterclass in sanitation. It scours pots and pans without scratching, extinguishes grease fires instantly, where water would cause an explosion, and deodorizes everything from foul clothes to a makeshift latrine. Kept dry, it lasts forever. A 10-pound bag is a long-term supply of toothpaste, deodorant, antacid, fire extinguisher, and all-purpose cleaner. It's not just a product, it's a one-item survival system.